Welcome, dear students of class 12th. As you know, we are reading a lesson titled Deep Water from the text Flamingo, or written by William Douglas. In today's lesson, we'll be discussing from para first, page 27. Now let us start. And then, strangely, there was light. I was coming out of the awful yellow water. At least my eyes were. My nose was almost out too. Then I started down a third time. I sucked for air and got water. The yellowish light was going out. Then all effort ceased. I relaxed. Even my legs felt limp, and a blackness swept over my brain. It wiped out fear. It wiped out terror. There was no more panic. There was no more panic. It was quiet and peaceful. Nothing to be afraid of. This is nice, to be drowsy, to go to sleep. No need to jump. Too tired to jump. No need to jump. Too tired to jump. It's nice to be carried gently. It is nice to be carried gently. To float along in space. To float along in space. Tender arms and round me. Tender arms round me. Tender arms like mothers. Now I must go to sleep. It is a difficult word. Ceased. Ceased means ended. In this para, Wright says that something strange happened. Something strange happened. And William saw light. His eyes came out of the water. His nose was almost out of it. Wright says that something strange happened, and William saw light. His eyes came out of the water. His nose was almost out of it. Then he started going downwards into the pool for the third time. He tried to breathe but gulped water instead. The light went out as he drowned again. Then he stopped making efforts to save himself. William relaxed, his legs became lifeless, and his brain experienced a black out. The fear ended. He did not panic. He became quiet and experienced peace. He was not afraid of drowning anymore. He felt sleepy, was tired to jump up. Felt nice to be carried in his mother's arms as he felt sleepy. Now next line is I crossed to oblivion, and the curtain of life fell. I crossed to oblivion, and the curtain of life fell. The next I remember. Writer here says, I crossed to oblivion and the curtain of life fell. Here one word oblivion means the state of being unaware or unconsciousness. The state of being unaware or unconscious of what is happening around one. Oblivion. I crossed to oblivion. I crossed to oblivion. Oblivion here means the state of being unaware or unconscious of what is happening around one. And curtain of life fell means life came to an end. Here writer says in these lines, William became unconscious as he drifted away towards death. William became unconscious as he drifted towards death. Now, next line is the next I remember I was lying on my stomach beside the pool, vomiting. The chap that threw me in was saying, the chap that threw me in was saying, but I was only foolish. But I was only fooling. Someone said the kid nearly died. But all right now, let's carry him to the locker room. When William gained consciousness, he was lying on his stomach beside the pool and was vomiting. He heard someone scolding the boy who had pushed him into the pool. The voice said that William had almost died, and the boy replied that he was fooling with him. The voice asked the boy. The voice asked the boy to carry William to the locker room. Several hours later, I walked home. I was weak and trembling. I shook and cried. When I lay on my bed, I could not eat that night. For days, a haunting fear was in my heart. The slightest excretion upset me, making me wobbly in the knees and sick to my stomach. Where in this para one word, wobbly means weak. Wobbly means weak. Here it says that after many hours, William walked home. He felt weak and shivered. He kept on carrying as he lay on the bed. He was unable to eat food. The fear kept on haunting him for many days. The incident made him physically upset. The slightest work made him feel that his knees were unable to bear his weight. He would feel like vomiting. Now, the text is again text. I never went back to the pool. I never went back to the pool. I feared water. I avoided it whenever I could. I never went back to the pool. I feared water. I avoided it whenever I could. Here it says that William did not go to the swimming pool as he feared the water. He remained away from water. अब विलियम नहीं चला गया स्विमिंग पूल की तरफ. अब वो वाटर से डरने लगा. अब वो दूर रह गया. He remained away from the water. अब इस पानी से दूर रह गया वो. A few years later, when I came to know the when a few years later, when I came to know the waters of the Cascades, I wanted to go to get into them. And whenever I did, whether I was wading the Titan or bumping river or bathing in warm lake of the goat rocks, the terror that had seized me in the pool would come back. I would take possession of me completely. It would take possession of me completely. My legs would become paralyzed. Icy horror would grab my heart. Here is one word, that is cascades. Cascades means waterfall. After some years, that says that after some years, William came to know of a waterfall and wanted to go in it. Whenever he went for swimming in different rivers like the Titan, Bumping River, Warm Lake of the Goat Rocks, द फियर ऑफ वाटर रिटर्न, ये डर दोबारा उसके पास पहुंचता है, डर जाता है ये दोबारा. इट वुड ग्रैब हिम कम्प्लीटली, disable his limbs and grab his heart. Now, this handicapped state, this handicap stayed with me as the years rolled by in canoes on mine lakes fishing or landlocked salmon. For landlocked salmon, boss of fishing, boss fishing in New Hampshire, trout fishing on the Deschutes and Metollis in Oregon, fishing for salmon on the Columbia, at the Bumping Lake in the Cascades. Wherever I went, the haunting fear of the water followed me. It ruined my fishing trips, deprived me of the joy of canoeing, boating, and swimming. Here are some difficult words. Please listen. Handicap means a circumstance that makes progress or success difficult. Handicap means a circumstance that makes progress or success difficult. Canoes means small boats. Ruined means destroyed. Deprived means to take away. Let me tell you the meaning again. Handicap means a circumstance that makes progress or success difficult. Canoes means small boats. Ruined means destroyed. Deprived means to take away. The students here it says that the fear of water remained with William as he grew up on the boating trips to different lakes in the Maine region, New Hampshire, and Deschutes, Metolius, Columbia, Bumping Lake, where he fished different varieties of fish, namely salmon, bass, and trout. The fear followed him. His fishing trips were destroyed. His fishing trips were destroyed as he did not enjoy boating and swimming due to the fear. Now, next para. I used it every day. I used it every way I knew to overcome this fear. I used it every way I knew to overcome this fear, but it held me firmly in its grip. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and learn to swim. I went to a pool and practiced 5 days a week, an hour each day. The instructor put a belt around me. A rope attached to the belt went through a pulley that ran on an overhead cable. He held on to the end of the rope, and we went back and forth across the pool. Hour after hour, day after day, week after week, on each trip across the pool, a bit of the panic seized me. Each time the instructor relaxed his hold on the rope, and I went under, some of the old terror returned, and my legs froze. It was 3 months before the tension began to slack. Then he taught me to put my face under water and exhale, and to raise my nose and inhale. I repeated the exercise hundreds of times. Bit by bit, I shed part of the panic that seized me when my head went underwater. Here are some difficult words in this para. Cable means thick rope. Cable means thick rope. Slack means to reduce. Shed means removed. Panic means fear. Seized means gripped. In this para, right says that William tried. to ward off the fear. William tried to ward off the fear but was unable to get rid of it. Finally, in the month of October, he hired an instructor to teach him swimming. He would practice for an hour each day, 5 days a week. William describes the learning process. William describes the learning process. The instructor put a belt around William's waist. The belt was attached to a thick rope. The rope went through an overhead pulley and was held by the instructor. It ensured that in case William drowned, the instructor would pull him out. William swam across the length of the pool for several weeks. Whenever the instructor loosened the rope, he went down into the water and fear would return. It would immobilize his legs. It would definitely immobilize his legs. It was after 3 months of practice that William got comfortable. Right? It was after 3 months of practice that William got comfortable. Then the instructor taught him to breathe in the water. He taught him to put his face under the water and exhale his breath. He was taught to raise his nose out of the water and inhale. William practiced it several times. Gradually, he got rid of the panic that would grab him when he put his head under the water. Now, next he this is text. Next he held me. Now next he held me at the side of the pool. Next he held me at the side of the pool and had me kick with my legs. For several weeks I did just that. At first my legs refused to work, but they gradually relaxed and finally I could command them. Here is one word, that is command. Command means in the third phase of the learning process. Command means order. In the now writer says that in the third phase of the learning process, the instructor taught William to kick the water surface with his legs. He did this for many weeks. Initially his legs did not move, but gradually they relaxed and finally William could order them to kick in the desired way. Thank you very much.